If you think the greatest ancient merchants were silk or salt traders, think again. During the Warring States period, there was one businessman who didn't trade in fabric or grain, he traded a king. Meet Buwei, the shark of ancient times, a master investor who didn't pour his money into land or gold but into people. While ordinary merchants aimed for double or triple profits, Buwei played big with his business philosophy. A product that yields double the profit is good, but helping a man become king, how much would that be worth? Yes, he was the ultimate venture capitalist, literally. Recognizing that Prince Zichu, a royal hostage in the state of Zhao, had the potential to become a hot commodity in the future, Buwei didn't hesitate to invest in him. He provided full support, took care of everything, and even gifted his own lover to the prince to seal the deal. Talk about a bonus package investment. And so, from an ordinary merchant, Buwei climbed to the peak of power, becoming the prime minister of Qin, wielding immense influence. But alas, the political market is ever volatile, and Buwei's stocks eventually crashed beyond recovery. Let's dive into the incredible journey of this cunning merchant, from shrewd investor to one of history's most spectacular downfalls. From merchant to prime minister, the most profitable investment in history. Back in the day, people traded salt, silk, and rice, but Buwei went all in, he traded a future king. As a sharp-witted merchant, he had an investment philosophy that would make even modern financial moguls take notes. Buying low and selling high is basic. But if you invest in a man and turn him into a king, the returns are unimaginable. With this mindset, Buwei roamed the state of Zhao and stumbled upon a promising asset, Iran, also known as Zichu, a Qin prince held hostage in Zhao. From a conventional perspective, Iran had zero chance of inheriting the throne. His father, the ruler of Qin, had plenty of other sons who were far more capable and favored. Stranded in a foreign land, Iran was practically a nobody, no money, no power, no supporters. To put it bluntly, investing in him was a high-risk, high-reward gamble. But Buwei saw things differently, and nobody comes with a low initial cost, but if he becomes king, the returns will be infinite. So, Buwei decided to invest in Iran. He spent money on fine clothes, hired tutors to teach him court etiquette, and even organized networking events to help the prince build relationships with powerful political figures. In no time, Iran transformed from a penniless exile into a strong contender for the throne. But there was still one major problem, Iran had no son. A prince without an heir can't secure his position. There needs to be something to bind his claim. Buwei thought. And so, he made his boldest move yet, he gifted his most beautiful concubine, Zhao, to Iran. And that's where the drama began. Rumors soon spread that Zhao was already pregnant before she became Iran's wife, and the child she gave birth to was none other than Yingjing, later known as Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. In other words, there's a real possibility that Buwei wasn't just the kingmaker, he might have been the biological father of the greatest emperor in Chinese history. And so, he made his boldest move yet, he gifted his most beautiful concubine, Zhao, to Iran. And that's where the drama began. Rumors soon spread that Zhao was already pregnant before she became Iran's wife, and the child she gave birth to was none other than Yingjing, later known as Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. In other words, there's a real possibility that Buwei wasn't just the kingmaker, he might have been the biological father of the greatest emperor in Chinese history. The masterstroke, smuggling Iran back to Qin. Having a son still wasn't enough, Iran had to return to Qin if he wanted a shot at the throne. Buwei pulled every string he could, spending his fortune, leveraging connections, and bribing officials left and right. After relentless maneuvering, he finally caught the attention of the Qin king, making him take notice of this long-forgotten son. To win the king's sympathy, Buwei even staged dramatic tales of Iran's hardships, something like this: King of Qin, that kid is still alive? Buwei, Your Majesty, your noble prince is suffering in Zhao, starving to the point of gnawing on leather shoes just to survive. King of Qin, how pitiful. Fine, let him come back. And just like that, Iran was officially on his way back to Qin. The ultimate payoff, from merchant to the most powerful man in Qin. Not long after, the king of Qin passed away. Thanks to Buwei's extensive network, Iran unexpectedly ascended the throne as King Xuanxiang of Qin. At this point, Buwei had hit the jackpot with the greatest investment of his life. But the game wasn't over yet. Before he could truly enjoy his reign, King Xuanxiang died. His time on the throne was short-lived, talk about having no luck as a king. Now, the young Yingjing, the boy rumored to be Buwei's own son, was still too young to rule. The ultimate payoff, from merchant to the most powerful man in Qin. Not long after, the king of Qin passed away. Thanks to Buwei's extensive network, Iran unexpectedly ascended the throne as King Xuanxiang of Qin. At this point, Buwei had hit the jackpot with the greatest investment of his life. But the game wasn't over yet. Before he could truly enjoy his reign, King Xuanxiang died. His time on the throne was short-lived. Talk about having no luck as a king. Now, the young Yingjing, the boy rumored to be Lu Buwei's own son, was still too young to rule. The most unusual boyfriend audition in history. Zhao Ji, being the queen mother is great and all, but without someone to keep me company, it gets so boring. Lu Buwei, oh no. If she comes back to me, I'm doomed. At this point, Lu Buwei wasn't just the prime minister, but also the regent father of the young king. Getting romantically involved with the queen mother again would create a scandal of epic proportions that could shake the entire imperial court. So, he came up with a solution. He'd find someone else to keep Zhao Ji entertained. Thus began one of the most extravagant boyfriend auditions in history. The top candidate? A young man named Lao Ai, handsome, smooth-talking, and most importantly, possessing a special talent that greatly pleased the queen mother. So, Lu Buwei devised an outrageously creative plan. What if he pretends to be a eunuch? No one would suspect a eunuch of getting too close to the queen mother. And just like that, Lao Ai transformed from a charming playboy into a fake eunuch. This clever disguise allowed him to move freely within the Forbidden Palace, living like a king by the side of Zhao Ji, completely undisturbed. The most foolish rebellion in history. Everything was going smoothly, until one day, Zhao Ji gave birth. Not just to one, but two sons. Qin Shi Huang, Yingjing wait, a eunuch had children? Someone explained this to me. At this point, there was no way to cover it up. The entire court was shaken to its core, a eunuch fathering children? Only in Qin could something this absurd happen. But Lao Ai didn't stop there. Drunk on power, he soon revealed his true ambition, rebellion. Using his status as the father of the princes, he expanded his influence, bribed officials, and secretly gathered troops. His ultimate dream? Overthrow Yingjing and seize the throne for himself. And thus, he orchestrated one of the most idiotic coup attempts in history. The brutal end of Lao Ai, a failed coup and a ruthless emperor. What Lao Ai didn't realize was that by this time, Yingjing had grown into a strong and decisive ruler. The moment the king learned of the rebellion, he crushed it instantly. The Qin army obliterated Lao Ai's faction in no time. As for Lao Ai, he faced one of the most gruesome punishments in history, death by 5 horses, being torn apart by 5 galloping horses. Meanwhile, Zhao Ji, Yingjing's mother, was banished to a distant land, marking the end of one of the most explosive palace scandals ever. With this chapter closed, Yingjing took another step toward becoming the greatest emperor in Chinese history, Qin Shi Huang. The bitter end of the political godfather, when the investor runs out of luck. After eliminating Lao Ai and cleaning up the palace scandal, Qin Shi Huang turned his attention to a bigger problem, Lu Buwei. This old man has way too much power. When I was younger, I let him do as he pleased. But now? I'm the strongest one in this entire court. But instead of acting immediately, Qin Shi Huang launched a psychological attack first, a devastating verbal strike designed to shake Lu Buwei to his core. The emperor sent him a letter containing just one brutal question, but its impact was enough to make Lu Buwei's world spin. You have enjoyed the wealth and privileges of Qin for many years, but I have one question. What exactly is your relation to me? Translation, tell me, what are you to me? My biological father? My foster father? Or just a scheming parasite who has leeched off this kingdom for years? Checkmate. The investor's final exit. This was a deadly question, one wrong answer, and it was game over. If Lu Buwei claimed to be the emperor's real father, he was doomed. No ruler would tolerate someone daring to call himself the king's father. If he denied having any connection, he was also doomed. That would mean he had been leeching off Qin for years as a corrupt official. Lu Buwei, no way out. What now? And the only escape route led straight to the grave. Lu Buwei knew his game was over. Once Qin Shi Huang targeted someone, there was no survival. If he resisted, he would face a brutal execution. But if he ended things on his own terms, at least he could preserve some dignity and protect his family from destruction. So, Lu Buwei made his final move. He drank poison and walked into history. And so ends the greatest political mastermind of the Warring States. With a quiet sip of poison, the #1 political kingpin of the Warring States era brought his scheming, power-hungry journey to an end. Thus, Lu Buwei, the greatest merchant in Chinese history, completed his roller coaster ride, from a small-time trader to a powerful tycoon, only to crash spectacularly after overinvesting in politics. From a mere businessman, he rose to the peak of power, transforming a nameless prince into a king, only to fall just as dramatically. From a shadowy puppet master, he became the prime minister of Qin, wielding both wealth and power at his fingertips. But from a brilliant strategist, he fell into disgrace, all because he bet on the wrong emperor. As Yingjing grew up, he crushed every conspiracy, eliminated every enemy, and forced Lu Buwei into a dead end. The once mighty political shark was now nothing more than a dried-up fish, left with no choice but to drink poison to preserve his last shred of dignity. And so ended the most spectacular tale of power brokering and king selling in Chinese history.